Been a minute since we shot with the Fujifilm X-H1 with autofocus. Hopefully it doesn't fail me this time. Today we're gonna be doing a real interesting test I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm talking about years. Flog versus ETERNA. Yes, it's happening today. We got beautiful weather, and this is the perfect timing to test Flog and ETERNA. Which one is the king of dynamic range and colors? Now I am rooting for Flog, but you know what, I gotta be honest, from my experience, ETERNA has just been the way to go for just overall look, to get a beautiful style straight out of the camera where we don't even barely have to do any adjustments in DaVinci Resolve. ETERNA is just a fantastic film simulation, especially if you tweak it a little bit with your recipe. You get some nice look. So right now, ETERNA, the recipe I'm shooting in right now, we're at +2 shadows and highlight, meaning we are trying to get the most dynamic range. We're pushing the limits of ETERNA. Color is at +2, sharpness is at +2. So now that we got the camera ready, all set to go, let's head out and shoot. So we'll see you over there. All right, here we are on our computer, and I'm looking over at the files, and what you're looking at right now is actually Flog. And yeah, it looks, this is very high contrast scene, but when we switch over to ETERNA, not much has changed, right? It looks really on par. The high dynamic range, the colors, everything looks pretty much the same. Now, I do have to tell you guys, spoiler alert, is just ETERNA is the best way to go due to the colors being more realistic. Look at the greenery here in Flog, and when we switch over to ETERNA, it has a more realistic, just a very natural green. It's not so fluorescent. Now that could be in post. We could edit that in post, but I'm just sharing with you as close as I could get both the Flog to look like the ETERNA. There's still a slight difference, and just ETERNA is just the best way to go. Now, as you could see right here in that clip, we do lose a little bit in the highlights in the background, but that's just a very rare case. Look at this backlit scene. Flog looks fantastic. We got great colors, great details, even the cloud in the back. But ETERNA keeps the same detail, but again, with just better colors overall. And the best thing about ETERNA is this is straight out of the camera. We barely touch anything, just a little bit play with the shadows and the tint and the temp, and that's it. Flog, yeah, it took a lot of work to get looking like this. And so far you have seen all the clips that look so similar, and it's hard to tell which is which. But every sample shoot that I'm doing is I'm placing the Flog first and then ETERNA, so then I can match vice versa. But look at that. As you can see, ETERNA just looks so much better because it's just have better rendering of the colors, the shades, and even the color noise that you see in the background. You're gonna see some color patterns in Flog, whereas ETERNA doesn't suffer from that as much, again because we're working with an 8-bit codec, so there's not a lot of room to play with. But look at the blue sky in Flog. This is a great scene, really contrasty. But ETERNA, again, we get nicer blues, better greens, but less color noise. Now in the city, it's the same thing. Again, Flog looks amazing. Look at this high contrasted place, but look at ETERNA. It does actually even better somehow. Again, high contrast with the sun shining directly into the surface of the building, but look at ETERNA, it still retains all the highlights. Again, Flog is looking great. Look at all the details in the background, in the foreground, the colors. But again, ETERNA, look at that. Same thing. We got the same dynamic range as Flog. Now, this is the only scene that I could quite see a little difference between ETERNA and Flog. Focus on the lights and the light bulbs and see how Flog just has a slight edge. Right there, we could see the pillars with better highlight roll-off than ETERNA. When we head over to ETERNA, we can see that there is some clipping there. We do lose some data there, but this is like an extreme case, because look at right here, I'm inside the dark tunnel facing outside, and we could still have great data with F-Log, but ETERNA is the same thing. So in reality, even though the light bulb scenario, we did lose highlight, we did clip a little bit, it's not a big loss, because in real life scenarios like right now, shooting through a shadow alley into a bright hotspot on the scene, we can get great dynamic range. And again, comparing the colors, F-Log has great colors, but ETERNA is just very realistic. And look at that, we don't clip any highlights or shadows. Everything just looks fantastic. Right now we're in the part of the city where the sun is behind the buildings, so we're going to get a lot of shadow, a lot of harsh lights on the people's clothes and the road, and F-Log is doing a great job, but again, ETERNA still keeps up just fine. Perfect high dynamic range. Now in this scene where I'm more inside the shopping center, this was a very challenging for ETERNA, and as you could see, we barely were able to get some details in the back of the background. But again, it's still passable. It's still very similar to what we're getting with F-Log. And now towards the last stop in our shoot is the Takamatsu station and the bus terminal. And here we have a lot of contrast, a lot of details on the building and the architecture. ETERNA look the same as F-Log, right? Here we have an F-Log shot of the Takamatsu symbol tower. And when we switch over to ETERNA, you can't even tell which one is which. But focus on the blue tones on the corner. You might be able to see some of the color noise and color patterns shooting in F-Log, where ETERNA just blends it a little better. I don't know why that is. They're both 8-bit codec, but it's just ETERNA just looks a little bit more organic. So there you have it, guys. Comparison between F-Log and ETERNA. So let's head over to the studio and give you my conclusion. Woo, guys, so it was a long weekend of shoot. I had 2 days where I went out to the beach, I went into the city and just shot in F-Log, ETERNA, and I'm just gonna give it to you guys straight. Shoot ETERNA. It's that simple. I was confident that ETERNA is gonna come out winning in this comparison. Really, the only advantages F-Log had was just to barely protect the slightest clipping, say some light bulbs in the streets or the reflection of the sun from the bridge. F-Log was the one that was kind of protecting those blown out highlights a little bit better, but really I couldn't tell the difference. I was trying to expose to protect the highlights, and even though we were protecting the highlights in F-Log and in ETERNA, it still looks a little bit blown out in the computer, but according to the histogram and all the other grams that are in DaVinci Resolve, the tools for exposure and color, they all say there's data there. It's not overexposed. I didn't blow out any highlights or clip anything. So the data is there. It's just an 8-bit codec. So that's why it really doesn't matter which one you choose. I don't know why you would choose that over ETERNA, since ETERNA will get the colors straight out of the camera really nice, and with controlling the shadows and the highlights and color in camera, you're able to create an even more personalized style, and add to that you have white balance adjustments, and you're seeing in your LCD and in the viewfinder what you're going to get in the computer. Really, the advantages go to ETERNA, and I'm not gonna lie, I think ETERNA does have like 12 stops of dynamic range, because it was on par with F-Log. And by the way, if you are wondering, yes, we're shooting in ETERNA right now, and this is straight out of the camera. If I do tweak anything in DaVinci Resolve, it'll just probably be the white balance. But other than that, the camera is doing all the hard work. And with that said, if you have the time, and the energy and patience, you were able to get Flog looking just like ETERNA. No, the ETERNA LUT does not make Flog look like the ETERNA clip. It took quite a bit of work to get it looking exactly the same. I have to play around with the primaries and the wheels and the temps and the tint just to get the colors right. Definitely, there is a workflow to get Flog looking good, but that's what I'm trying to tell you in this video. I'm trying to save you guys time. Just shoot ETERNA. You won't regret it. And by the way, check out the other comparison I have in my channel using the Canon EOS M, comparing S-Log with Log-C, which through the MOV app we're able to codec all the DNG raw files from Magic Lantern into those specific log files, and there is a slight difference between the two. And yeah, so check out that video and let me know what you guys think between those two codecs. But thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, happy shootings.